Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, if you're listening, you probably want that key bit of info, the insight that cuts through all the usual noise. Today, we're diving deep into, well, some high-stakes Formula One contract poker. And for this analysis, we're really leaning on a whole stack of recent observations, expert takes, including some really detailed stuff compiled by the team over at Drakensund. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. Our focus. It's the weird silence around George Russell's Mercedes contract renewal. Just a few months back, everyone thought, this was sorted. A formality. Russell and Antonelli, that was going to be the 2026 pair, right? Especially after Max Verstappen confirmed he was sticking with Red Bull, at least for now.
Yeah, that seemed like the logical next step.
But the renewal, it seems completely stalled. Frozen solid. So, okay, let's unpack this. Why is a deal that looks so straightforward suddenly stuck? What's really, truly blocking it?
Well, all the analysis, everything we're seeing, it really points towards one name, Max Verstappen. This hesitation from Mercedes, the way the contract talks are structured, It feels like it's all about keeping options open for a massive play in 2027.
So Russell's future is basically on hold because of Toto Wolff's, let's say, strategic ambitions for way down the line.
That's exactly how it looks, yes.
Okay, let's dig into that. First off, the timeline, the missed deadline. That's maybe the most obvious clue, right?
Definitely. I mean, Toto Wolff himself said it publicly. Russell could sleep soundly. Confirmation was coming midsummer.
And midsummer. Well, that ship sailed a while ago. We're nearly in October now.
Exactly. End of the racing year, practically. And just silence, radio silence. That delay, especially after they sounded so confident before, it's not normal. It screams that something's changed, or maybe something that was always there is suddenly much more important.
Right. And the analysis we've seen, especially from Drakensund, points to two main blocking factors causing this stalemate. First one, economics.
Pretty standard stuff in a way.
Russell's the senior driver now, right? He's arguably, giving Antonelli a bit of a schooling, leading the team. So naturally, he wants his pay packet to reflect that status.
Makes sense. That's any negotiation. But it's the second factor that's the real sticking point.
Which is?
Contract duration. That's the critical bit. The talk now is all centered on a 1+1 contract.
1+1. So one guaranteed year for 2026.
Correct. And then the team, Mercedes, holds an option for the second year, 2027.
Hang on a second. If all the rumors are true, if Mercedes really is bringing an absolute rocket ship in 2026 with these new regulations, people are calling the engine a potential airplane.
Yeah, the buzz about that engine advantage is huge.
So why on earth would Russell, the guy leading the team now, even consider a 1+1? Why risk getting booted out after just 1 year, right when the team might be totally dominant?
See, that's the twist. That's what the analysis clarifies. You'd think the super engine rumors would strengthen Russell's hand, let him demand a long deal.
Yeah, lock it in.
But it seems Mercedes is using the other way. The intel suggests it's Mercedes, specifically Toto Wolff, pushing hard for this short 1+1 deal.
Even though Russell's been a Mercedes guy forever. Development driver, junior teams, the whole journey.
Exactly. He wouldn't rationally want to leave a potential championship winner unless he is sort of being forced to accept these shorter terms.
And this fits with Wolff's known interest in Verstappen, doesn't it? The sources have tracked this for ages. Wolff trying to seduce Max, as some put it.
For over a year, yeah. That desire for Verstappen has been bubbling under the surface. It's not really a secret.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate, though. If Mercedes strong-arms Russell into this 1+1 now, isn't that terrible for team morale? Doesn't stability count for something, especially going into a new rules era? More than just a chance at getting Max in 27.
That seems to be the gamble Wolff is willing to take. The calculation appears to be that landing a generational talent like Verstappen outweighs the potential disruption. And you have to connect it to the other whispers. The ones about Red Bull maybe struggling a bit with the 2026 power units.
Oh, okay.
If Red Bull does stumble, and there are those persistent rumors about a performance clause in Max's contract, well, that could potentially free him up for 2027.
So putting it all together, the theory is Mercedes offers Russell only one guaranteed year specifically to keep their powder dry, to have the maximum flexibility, the contractual space, to make a massive multi-year offer to Verstappen the second he might become available for 2027.
It's pretty ruthless, if true. And what's really striking is how little leverage Russell seems to have in all this.
Yeah, where else could he go?
Exactly. The expert consensus is clear. He pretty much has to take the 1+1, the 2026 grid. It's basically full. All the top seats are gone.
So he can't realistically threaten to walk away.
Not credibly, no. He'd risk a huge step down, maybe even being out of F1 altogether. And Mercedes knows this, of course. So, yeah, it looks like they're playing it very cleverly. They lock down their 2026 lineup with Russell and Antonelli, but they keep that huge door wide open for their #1 target in 2027.
Okay, so Russell basically has no choice but to sign this short deal.
Yeah.
That puts immense pressure on his 2026 performance, doesn't it? Driving knowing your seat might already be earmarked for someone else.
Huge pressure. And this leads to thinking about future scenarios, like the ones the analysts are mapping out for 2027.
Let's talk about those. What are the extremes?
Well, scenario 1 is what some call the shark scenario. It's the toughest one for Werf, potentially.
Okay.
Imagine Mercedes nails the 2026 car. It is the airplane. And Russell drives the wheels off it, wins the world championship, dominates Antonelli.
Right. So he delivers the ultimate prize.
Exactly. Now, the conflict. If Russell is the reigning world champion, bringing home the bacon, does Toto Wolff still act like an absolute shark, as the analysts put it, and ditch him for Verstappen?
Oof. The PR on that would be brutal.
Catastrophic, probably. Dismissing your champion, it feels like the image, the logic. It might just make it impossible to let Russell go in that specific situation. It creates this massive dilemma.
But there's another way it could play out, right? Another scenario based on history.
Yes. Scenario 2 draws on lessons from the past. You've got the 2014 rerun idea versus the 2021 title fight lesson.
Explain those. 2014 rerun.
That refers to the start of the hybrid era. Mercedes had such a massive engine advantage back then, they could kind of afford driver squabbles or mistakes. They still won easily.
So could they decide in 26, hey, this car's so good, we don't actually need Verstappen. We can win titles with Russell and Antonelli just fine.
It's possible, but the analysis really pushes back against that. They think Wolff learned a very painful lesson in 2021.
The Hamilton-Verstappen fight.
Right. Many argue Mercedes arguably had the faster car overall that year, but they still lost the driver's title in that incredibly intense, high-pressure battle against Max. The lesson wasn't just about car speed. It was about having the driver who delivers under maximum pressure, the absolute guarantee.
So relying on two very good drivers might win you the constructors, but for the driver's title, especially in a close fight,
you need the absolute best, the Verstappen-level guarantee. That seems to be the prevailing logic driving this strategy.
So the takeaway is Russell has to sign the 1+1, no choice. And then his only path is to be utterly brilliant in 2026 and make Wolff's decision incredibly, incredibly difficult.
Crush Antonelli, win races, maybe even the title, and make himself indispensable. That's his only play.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. This whole Mercedes situation, this focus on 2027, it obviously has ripples across the whole grid.
Yeah.
How does it connect to other driver situations, like, say, Fernando Alonso?
Ah, yes, the Alonso factor. It connects directly, especially with his recent comments about maybe retiring after 2026 if he has a competitive car. This is where mental strength becomes almost a tangible asset. The thinking, based on the Juice Zone analysis and others, is if Verstappen does land at Mercedes for 2027, any team wanting to seriously challenge them for the title, like an Aston Martin, they don't just need a fast driver. They need someone who is mentally bulletproof, a true rock who can handle the pressure of a season-long fight against Max in potentially the best car.
And that puts Russell under the microscope again, mentally. We know he's fast, hugely talented. But has he really been tested in a proper year-long championship fight?
Not really, no. And the sources do point to occasional, maybe silly mistakes when he has been fighting just for single race wins. That's different pressure than a title campaign.
Like Singapore last year, that late error.
Exactly that kind of thing. Under the absolute peak pressure of a championship battle week after week, we haven't seen how his mental fortitude holds up. It's still a bit of an unknown.
Which brings us back to Alonso.
Precisely. Alonso is the known quantity. He's proven time and again to be that mental rock. He thrives in high-stakes fights. So this raises a really interesting question. Is that mental toughness, the consistency, the resistance to pressure, avoiding those unforced errors almost as critical as raw pace when you're aiming for a championship against the very best?
And Mercedes going all in for Max suggests they believe it is. They want that absolute guarantee.
It certainly looks that way. And if Verstappen does go to Mercedes, suddenly Alonso's value to Aston Martin or any top rival just skyrockets. He becomes arguably the best available mental counterweight to Max. His continuation in F1 looks much more likely in that scenario, maybe even guaranteed.
So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. What's the big takeaway here?
The stalled Russell contract, this whole push for a short-term 1+1 deal, it's not just noise. It feels like a very clear strategic signal.
A signal that Mercedes is methodically lining everything up, contracts, options, everything, to make a serious run at signing Max Verstappen for the 2027 season.
Yeah. And for now, Russell, even if he performs brilliantly, is potentially just keeping the seat warm for Wolff's ultimate target.
And if Mercedes pulls this off, if they actually land Verstappen, wow. That changes everything, doesn't it?
Completely reshapes the F1 landscape, not just for Mercedes, but for every other team. It could, as we said, practically guarantee Alonso stays put, just because he's seen as the best mental matchup against a Verstappen-Mercedes powerhouse.
So what does this all mean for right now? It means watching George Russell in 2026 is going to be absolutely fascinating. It's the ultimate audition.
The highest stakes drive of his life, probably. Testing his speed, yes, but maybe even more. Testing that mental resilience under unbelievable pressure.
His performance next year could literally decide Toto Wolff's biggest driver decision. He has to be flawless. Well, that's certainly given us a lot to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, digging into all the information and analysis we've gathered. And if you appreciate this kind of detailed breakdown, getting into the weeds of F1 strategy, please do remember to support the insights we draw on, like the excellent work from Gerson. Subscribing and following along really helps us continue doing these deep dives.
Absolutely.
We'll see you for the next one.